Welcome back, Panther fans. I'm David Brown here with Ryan Graham.
Hey, y'all.
Tim Thurber.
Hello.
And this is State of Atlanta. Welcome back, everybody. We are here with Aaron and Mike from the Monarchists, a podcast about Old Dominion. Thanks for joining us, guys. And welcome to the Sun Belt.
Thank you.
Appreciate the welcome.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. What did you bring? You brought whiskey, huh? You're going a little hard.
I like it.
That's good, man.
It's
well, until
what
they're double fisting,
boys got to do.
Until you're double fisting beer
and I'm reading. I'm reading the title here. And Ron, what did you bring? Come on, man.
I stole one of my wife's IPAs.
Nice.
That's a juicy IPA from Three Notched out of Charlottesville.
All right.
But don't tell her. I had to throw another one in the fridge. Hopefully, it'll be cold before she finds out.
Well, don't let Ryan distract you from asking about and commenting about whiskey and what kind of beer you're drinking. He's drinking PBR right now and probably has been since 2 p.m. today. So
that's about right. Also, just so we're all clear, they won an award and never looked back. All right.
And never changed a thing.
Why would you? Why would you? You're the best beer already. I mean, it's done.
We got the
I will say that I'm repping Old Dominion baseball while we do it, though.
All right.
I like it.
Respect.
I got a little Panther head.
Hey, there we go.
Myself.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, So guys, we'll get into it. I think the overall sense I've gotten from the fan bases from all three of the schools that have joined the Sun Belt is pretty excited about it. Is that true from your perspective? And how did it go down from y'all's side of things? I mean, we saw things happening from inside the conference. What was it like looking from you guys outside the conference?
You want to start us off, Mike?
Yeah, it was nerves. We really needed to get out of Conference USA. It was such a terrible fit for us. We were on an island. I mean, we were worse off than anyone else, I think, in the league because we were so isolated. Charlotte was our closest rival, and we've never been good at the same time in anything, so other than baseball. So how do you build a rivalry when you're far away and then the other team's not good at football at the same time you are? They're not, and Charlotte's never good at basketball. So beating them is like there's nothing really on the line there. So, and then you have the TV deal is awful.
Oh my God!
Which channel are you on, right?
There is no channel.
TV when it's all just like Facebook, and I think the running joke online is the running joke on social media is that you're on the TV screens at the gas stations, right? That's where they actually had Conference USA games.
Mike's the guy that started that.
Yep.
That whole thing that happened on Twitter, that was Mike.
Yeah, I made a fake news release from Conference USA and posted it on the Sun Belt page and on Twitter. And the amount of people that thought it was real was pretty alarming. But it also shows you how bad Conference USA is with TV deals.
Is that like the thing
does it
pumping your gas at BP? And
Yeah.
Okay, all right, good. I just want to make sure I'm clear about where that is because that would be hilarious.
But do you only get like 30 seconds of your game?
It depends on how big your gas tank is, Tim.
just endlessly fill up.
My luck, I'd have that commercial break between the touchdown and the kickoff. I'd miss the whole thing. But I think it's a testament to how dumb a lot of football fans are, and then also how horrible that Conference USA TV deal is. That it was not beyond the realm of believability.
Well, and so like the thing is when we moved up from FCS, people were upset we didn't join CUSA. And so like we kind of looked at it, with a side eye as well. But it just like turns out things were worked out in our favor, and now things have worked out in your favor. So
yeah, I'll add there's other things we hate about that league.
There's a long list.
We could probably do like a 3-hour just like nobody else speaks, and the two of you just tell us how bad the Conference USA was, right?
Yeah. So throughout our tenure there, we'd have news reports from the Virginia Pilot about how Wood Selig is suggesting these changes to the league to make it more friendly for the Eastern teams. and how they have partners that agree with them, like Middle Tennessee State and Marshall and Charlotte. And every time, none of it would happen. We have we're playing in a football practice facility for our basketball championship in Texas every year, when none of the teams in Texas even have good attendance. Like, what are we doing here? Should we be trying to placate to the teams that actually care? I don't know. It just, whatever they did just never made sense. Like, they didn't have a vision.
So was Old Dominion the one that was pushing that East Coast Conference, East Coast Division type thing? I've heard about
whole
that.
Geographic realignment. Yeah, Wood was pressing that whole thing and trying to get some support for it, and it made all the sense in the world. It's almost like what the Sun Belt really is kind of focusing on, and it just really, for whatever reason, couldn't get any traction on it.
So I think last summer,
I thought that was a Marshall thing, but yeah. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
It's been a thing that Wood's been pitching for years.
David for weeks has been talking about how the Sun Belt East should just like branch off,
separate,
and be its own conference, which I don't think it's going to happen. But like, it's sort of in the same vein of like, well, this is a conference that actually makes sense, is like Sun Belt East right now.
Right.
Well, if they do it, if the East is going to break off, you need to do it before adding another team and Georgia State gets bumped to the West, because that's what happened with, you talk about having originally a close conference, and the way it was before, we weren't the most Western team. We were the second most Western team with Troy, and now we are the most Western team by far. We went from having road games being about a 6-hour drive away to the three new, or it's actually Marshall, ODU, and James Madison all being like 8-9 hour drives. So it's whereas it got tight for the Carolina, Virginia schools, West Virginia schools, the Georgia schools kind of got left a little bit out there on that west side.
Yeah,
that wasn't a question. I was saying stuff.
So I'll add those conversations on the board about expansion. To me, every time I see that discussion, if that ever happens, all we're heading towards is a split eventually. Because once you get,
that's what I say as well,
16 to 18 teams, that's not going to last long. It's just going to have to splinter at some point.
I think
how
it
many
depends
teams in the East actually want to travel to Louisiana?
I think it depends on what the P5 programs do, because those conferences are going into super conferences. If they split, then we will follow. But if they maintain their 16 to 24 teams, whatever the hell they're doing right now, then we'll try to do our best to do it too. I mean, we've had commissioners say that like, we're just doing whatever the SEC does, and so I mean, that's what we'll do. That's what we'll continue doing.
Well, I'm hopeful that the conference stays the course and keeping a really good focus on what they're doing. So if it does grow, it grows in the right manner, not chasing geographic or TV numbers and markets and those sorts of things. But if you have a chance to add back East Carolina or someone that really makes sense in the footprint, and it's a great opportunity, then maybe you do it. But don't start stretching like some of these other ones have, because that's really what the Sun Belt has going for it right now. One of the major things, which is so attractive to Old Dominion and to our fans for sure.
Yeah, we haven't played a single conference game yet, and everyone's already talking about what the future expansion is going to look like. And it's kind of like, maybe we should see how games play out a little bit before we start worrying about all of that and everything. But I agree with you. Tim, you haven't got a chance to get in anything yet. You got something about the guys joining that you wanted to ask?
Not a question. I mean, back when they were SES, I mean, when you moved up to FBS, were you guys super excited about coming to Conference USA? Like, kind of like, ooh, this is shiny. I like it. And then how quickly did it erode to the point of which, wow, this conference is super big. It's stretched out. Our closest school is Charlotte, which I can't imagine is less than 5 hours to get there from Old Dominion. What was it like as that transition happened?
We had a few different camps. I mean, you had the one group who was CAA or die. I mean, they loved the rivalries, or the relationships, I would say, with with William and Mary, and playing JMU and playing VCU and George Mason, and because when we go to work every day, those are the people that we work with, that people that are in those schools. Then you had another group that was like, hey, we're ready to move up, and this is the opportunity. We got to take it, strike while the iron's hot, and the team was doing well. So it seemed like a logical, maybe it wasn't the perfect fit, but it was the fit at the moment. So it's like, okay, we got to jump on this thing, and if we do well for a few years, well, maybe we can find our way to, AAC, or something, whatever the next step is. And then I think there were some folks that were just kind of like, I'm not sure, kind of what's the next progression in what we do. But we quickly found out, I think everybody quickly found out, that it wasn't a good fit. And because of how fractured the league is and how dispersed it is, that fans were disconnected. It was very hard to get excited about a game against UTEP, or a game against UTSA or Florida International. There's nobody here knows people who went to those schools, and no one. An apathy grew over the course of the first few years, and I realized, the guys on the court and on the field, they could feel that. I mean, obviously they're engaged while they're playing, but a lot of the arenas and a lot of the stadiums they're playing in, they weren't playing in front of a lot of folks either. I mean, even in our downtime, our attendance numbers crushed most of the Conference USA places. So they're playing in front of a few hundred people at a couple different places. So it just, I think after about 3 years or so, even the people who thought it was the right move at the beginning were looking for a way to exit.
Yeah, that's got to be tough.
It was so bad. It was so bad there that COVID hits, and ODU's like, we're not even going to play this year. Like, we don't want to go play.
We get a free year.
A year to find something better to do with our time.
So,
what was the fan reaction? What was the fan reaction to that? To, people were struggling to kind of get some sense of normalcy, and there was all the weird restrictions on going to games and who could go and how many could go. And then Conference USA is back, but Old Dominion said, they felt it wasn't the right move yet. What was that kind of reaction like? What was y'all's take when that happened?
Are you there, Mike, or do we lose you?
I think we lost him. Yeah.
All right.
I'll take it. Either lost him, or he's deep in thought. One of the two.
Does look very deep in thought. I'll take it when he comes back. I'll let him pick up, because I know Mike's got some good thoughts on this one. That was we talked about that with Coach Ronnie, and we've talked with some of the players about that. It was the right move for Old Dominion. Obviously, there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes that we're not privy to in decisions, but Commonwealth of Virginia made it very difficult for anything to happen with groups. And being a G5 school, and we're dependent upon those ticket sales and those concessions. It costs a lot of money to play a football game, and with doing it with 250 people in the stands, it's a huge burden to the school. And I don't know how much of a factor that was into making that decision, but it had to play, a significant role there, just because dollars are at a premium at this level. And when Old Dominion moved up to FBS, we really got some handcuffs put on us by some state legislators with regards to percentage of student fees and those sorts of things. So playing with no people in the stands was just, in my opinion, probably a huge deal breaker. Hey, Mike, you came back on, so I'm going to let you take this, but I just kind of was talking about the money aspect with regards to trying to play football without being able to have fans in the stands.
Well, I mean, that wasn't all of it. I mean, we literally couldn't practice as a team. Virginia Beach, since it was a resort area, and Hampton Hampton Roads is all kind of grouped together. The state put a limit on 25 people or more outside gatherings. So how do you even have practice with a limit of 25 people? You get a couple coaches together, and then you can't even have the starters play each other in practice. Throw in some refs. I mean, it's not possible. They would have had to move out of state for the whole season to actually play. And then the cost, I don't know. I think they had no choice really in the matter. And that led to what happened. It's our fan base was like all COVID discussion. You have people that believed it was a real threat, and then you had people that
I'm waiting.
Decision. It is what it is at this point.
Right. Yeah. It just was, that was, from the outside looking in, it was an interesting thing seeing all these schools coming back or conferences coming back, and then just the one school out of Conference USA. So that's interesting. That makes a lot of sense. If you can't have your team practice together, to have the guys on the field and, butt up against each other, how are you going to be prepared for a game day? You don't want to, at that point, you're putting your players' health in jeopardy, because as soon as they get, hit for the first time, they haven't done that all summer long. Yeah, it's gonna be dangerous. That makes a lot of sense. I hadn't even thought about that. You made a comment about the restrictions that Virginia puts on universities there. That was a big thing about whether or not JMU was going to be able to make that transition to FBS along with you guys, or not transition to FBS with you guys, to the Sun Belt with you guys, and it was about that student fees. I guess they figured that out.
Well, you don't have to do it on day one. I can't remember the exact percentages and how much time you have to do. But hey, Mike, let's talk about the Cox bill and how it affected our transition and how it may affect JMU. You're much more knowledgeable on this one than me.
Well, what it really limits is capital
Damn.
spending. I don't think it really hampers like the football team and what they're spending. Nothing. All right, I'm gonna go to my phone.
Hey, can we disable his video? Maybe that will help.
Yeah. If we lose the video, that would probably help. I'll interject a little here just for a second, because everyone makes fun of me for being a libertarian on the podcast.
You're a politician, yeah.
But I bet
we make fun of you for a lot of things. That's
one of the things. That's right. That's one of the things.
Including your choice of beers, apparently.
That's right. Yeah, no, we rag on each other quite a bit. You got to have some tough skin here. But what I was gonna say is, like, I'm sure it didn't affect like those COVID restrictions and whatnot didn't affect UV and Virginia Tech just the same amount as it might have impacted some of the smaller schools. I bet they got carve outs.
They get what they want.
That's right.
They got a payroll protection loan to play football.
Yeah, they probably did. Yeah, they definitely are the two golden children in Virginia. And Mike comes back on if he's able, when he starts talking about this. There was a state legislator that's not necessarily super favorable to Old Dominion. Hold on, did you get a wardrobe change too?
Oh, he switched.
No, I switched to my phone.
I think it's a better camera.
I just switched to my phone. It was my repeater keeps restarting for whatever.
It keeps unrepeating.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk the Cox bill again, Mike.
Now.
Yes, heating.
Cox bill. So I think what it really impacts, it's not so much athletic spending, but athletic capital spending. Because you can do certain things with the football budget and basketball budget, but with capital, it's going to be a fixed amount. And you got to, our original budget for the football stadium was over $100 million. That went down to $71 million when it was all said and done. The difference there is quite a bit. We have a lot of spending we have to do here with our floodplain. We got to drill deep. We have a lot of costs there. So we're behind the eight ball on a lot of things because we have to spend more just to build.
Right.
when you cut out $30 million of the budget because of the Cox bill, that's really going to impact you.
But so we brought this up while you were going through the connection issues about JMU and their ability to move up to the FBS without that same kind of athletic contribution from the student fees. And I guess Aaron was saying that I guess they don't have to cut that immediately this year. They can stepstone that over the next several years to get back into compliance.
I think it's like a 7-year window. However,
okay,
the bill doesn't really have any teeth. And if you look at it and how they actually categorize spending, you can move certain things to the university. So I think they're already in compliance or close to compliance as it is. The problem will be when you add in all of the extra scholarships, what other sports they're going to add for Title IX. That makes it more difficult. Then they're going to have to figure that out. But I don't think it's a really big thing for them because they wouldn't be doing it if they couldn't.
Yeah, they've got a morally really rabid fan base, and they should be fine in that regard.
Low down capital building at their athletically for them. But luckily for them, they have a brand new basketball stadium. Football stadium's half of it's great.
Don't go to the other half. I've seen that.
Yeah, if you know, when their fans show pictures, it's usually just one side of the stadium.
It's like the Great Pyramids of Egypt. You see those pictures of the pyramids, and it's all desert behind it. You get a camera on the other side, and you see like the entire city. You get everything there. So they're showing the crappy side, and James Madison is showing the good side. So, so I guess one of the things I saw from my perspective, following the realignment, everything was Southern Miss and Marshall were the targets for the Sun Belt, and to go up to 12 teams, and whether or not we kept the basketball schools or not. And then it seemed like from what I was seeing that Marshall was that strong arm that we want to do this, but we really want to build this East Division. And they were responsible for Old Dominion and JMU coming in. So what do you guys owe Marshall? Well, are you guys just going to go like lose all your games to Marshall for like the next 3 or 4 years just to pay him back for getting you into the conference? Or what kind of slick of backs happened to get to make this happen for you guys through them?
Well, I think early on we had a partnership with Marshall where we decided whatever you guys are doing, we're both doing together. So to say it was just a Marshall thing, I'm not sure how true that is, because we're helping out App and Coastal as well. And
oh yeah, we don't care about them though. We don't.
Yeah.
But it's a win-win. It's a win-win for both, and not even just Marshall. I mean, Marshall's had good competitive basketball since we've been in Conference USA together. They play a different brand of basketball than we do, but it's always been kind of a I don't know if rivalry is the right word, but it's been a really good series. It's always competitive. It's always fun.
Right.
And then football. Obviously, they've gotten the best of us quite a bit. Last year was close. But geographically, it makes a lot of sense, both what the Sun Belt's trying to do, but for us as well. And then JMU is a natural rival for Old Dominion, but they're really close to Marshall as well. So I think the opportunity for that rival to be, very good, just out of proximity,
right.
Kind of right there on the border, the mountains and everything like that. I think it's just adds another nice flavor for the Sun Belt and for the individual teams. Now, obviously, Southern Miss is full of tradition and it has great programs. Historically, they've been a very good football program, and baseball. Obviously, we saw this last year what they're capable of doing. So, I really think all the additions bring something good to the table to the Sun Belt.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. If that came across as a dig at ODU or JMU, that's not the way I intended it. When I give my digs, I do that straight up, full on, not behind the back or whatever. I actually want to pay a compliment. I want to pay a compliment to specifically the ODU Marshall and JMU coming in, because Atlanta being the melting pot, we've got alumni from pretty much any university in the country, specifically in the Southeast and the Eastern coast. And so it'd be finally fun to have some coworkers of ours from these universities in our conference that don't work for us. They work with us. Because typically, Georgia State employs a lot of like the trash. We call them the trash down south, the Georgia Southern fans and the App State. They all work for us, but our colleagues in our jobs are those that have degrees from Old Dominion, MU, and Marshall. So it'd be good. We can actually talk about it without having to worry about harassment from HR or anything for talking down to our employees.
Very nice. Mike is speechless.
All right,
He knows.
Ryan or
He's
Tim,
just like,
someone
you're not
pick up
used to
my
this kind of podcast where it's just like, this is like some dudes talking at a bar, and we talk shit. We talk a lot of shit, like a lot. Like we can't back up all the shit we talk. We just do it.
If you were to ask me the name of our special teams coordinator right now, I would have to ask you, do we have a special teams coordinator? We're
I don't
not
think
that
we
kind
do.
of guys. I think we got one, didn't we?
I don't know, man. Shit.
You have to have
I think we
one,
got
right?
one. We don't have a running backs coach, but we got a special teams coordinator. I think that's
we don't do stats. We make fun of Trash Down South for having an indoor practice facility under like a aluminum shed thing, whatever they did.
It's where they park their school bus when it rains.
That's right. They even make fun of it.
Pretty nice purple.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, Ryan, Tim, you guys got a question for these guys? I got a couple more in here, but I want to give you guys a chance.
I got one about tailgating and the experience, around Old Dominion. We love beer here on the podcast, so any breweries that you recommend if we visit Old Dominion?
I'm gonna let Mike answer this one. He's a pro.
Mike.
So within about a mile and a half of campus, there's 3 breweries that are walking distance of the stadium. There's Elation.
I like that.
There's Elation. Elation and River Beach are both on Colley Avenue, and an area they call North Colley now. That's where all the bars and restaurants are within walking distance of campus. It's a pretty great area, but Elation is on one end and River Beach is on the other. Elation does a lot of German, like Pilsners, lagers, Berliner Weiss. And then on the other end is River Beach, and their specialties more like IPAs and sours. Both are great breweries. Both are pretty cool hangout spaces. Vail is not far from campus, and their satellite location in Norfolk is it's on Colonial Avenue, not far at all. There's another probably 6 breweries within like 3 miles of campus. So there's no shortage of options when you come to town. I would try to hit up Chelsea and go to Smart Mouth and Benchtop.
Mm-hmm.
Smart Mouth is pretty great, but Benchtop, it's a former scientist who owns that brewery, and he does a lot of funky things, but his sours and his stouts are amazing.
Ooh, stouts, talking my language.
It just depends on
sour, you're not talking mine.
No. So I'm super weird. My house is PBR or Guinness.
just one extreme to another.
Don't let him lie to you. He has boxes of wine and bottles of gin too.
At, ambers and porters and stouts, pretty much. So
I think you'd like Elation a lot because they also have a great pizza oven in there that they're making custom pizza out of. So it's more Neapolitan style. So it's all depending on if you like Neapolitan style, but it's great pizza, good beer, and it's just a great place to hang out. And it's What's the
like y'all's game day? What's y'all's game day environment like, and what's it like for opposing fans coming in there? Do you guys have a good crowd out there tailgating? Do you have areas where opposing teams? We play you guys here this year, so we won't get to experience it. But just kind of curious what it's like out there.
So you have to be a donor to get a pass. So it's hard for visitors to tailgate without buying them on the secondary market, and you're going to pay through the nose for a pass. However, the energy on campus is just crazy on a game day. It just feels like a different place, honestly. from one end to the other of campus, there's tailgates, parking lots throughout campus. And the ones near the stadium are the busiest and most active. So if you come as a visitor, I would suggest you go to the black lot, silver lot, and the blue lot, which are all surrounding the stadium. People are going to welcome you.
We have multiple lots that people tailgate in for sure. Yeah, they're all packed. There are multiple lots.
Yikes.
They're all packed.
Hey, yeah, no,
I'm sensing some sarcasm.
Yeah.
Just
There's
slightly.
one lot where a lot of the visitors go to typically, and then there's like where we go is on the bricks, which is like the athletics department provides us tents, and we do it up there. But are y'all planning on coming down for the tailgate?
I was in Atlanta this past weekend. So,
all right.
Little
early.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I'm going to make it back, but I do enjoy going to Atlanta. So I want to go to a game soon, but I'm not sure this is the right year.
Well, you guys and your listeners are more than welcome to come to our tailgate. We are very much a more the merrier. We'll talk some shit, but it'll be fun. We got a cooler full of beer, and usually there's some liquor and some smoked meats sitting around. So
I'm sure we'll take
And if you
up
can't
on that.
and if you can't handle the shit we talk, we literally can very rarely back it up. So there's also that.
And just to build off of what Mike was talking is, I find that our fans are very welcoming to traveling fans. So if your listeners are listening, they're going to be making a trip to Norfolk for a game, tell them not to be bashful, walk through the lots, and people will, especially ours. We've got, what do we have, 10 spots, Mike?
Yeah, we have 10 spots.
Our group, the Monarchists, have 10 spots, and we do it up, and we actually put menus out on Twitter, and we invite people to come. But most of our fans,
do that too.
Most of our fans are very welcoming to opposing fans. But the school also does a big. They put a lot of focus on the tailgate experience for fans who don't have a home. So on campus at Kaufman Mall, they have music and they have food. They've got all kinds of entertainment. So people who don't have a home or maybe are introverts and are afraid to walk through a lot and try to find a place to go, they can go right there on campus, which is, really close to the stadium, and have a tailgate experience there where they don't have to bring anything if they don't want, but if they want to bring a cooler or chairs, they can do that as well. So I know that the athletic department and our fundraising department really work hard to make that a great experience for.
Whoa! You used two words that Georgia State has never used together: fundraiser department. Like what is that? What?
Great 3 words. Great experience. 4 words.
I will. Hey, I don't know if those guys will be listening to this at all, but ODAF, that's our Old Dominion Athletic Foundation. They work their asses off to build the donor base and to really bring great things to the athletic department.
There's not many things I will say without a doubt we have better than anything in Sunbelt, but we have the best fundraisers in the league, and that I'm not ashamed to admit. I don't think it's even close.
All right, Ryan. I think that means we need to stop making.
You have one, so you have a
Ryan
department.
Step 1: do you have a fundraiser?
We need to stop making App State our pipeline of administrators and make it Old Dominion.
That's true. We need to shift north just a little bit.
I will add that Dominion that might be different from other schools is our athletic department's built more like a business. It's really segmented. So we have the foundation, we have tickets, and then we have ODU productions. So one is dealing with the TV production and media and marketing, sales. And then you got the guys trying to bring in as much money as they can. And then you got ticket sales. And it does make things a little bit more complicated because you got an umbrella of 3 things and different budgets in each one. When it comes to football, you want marketing to be with the fundraisers and the ticket sales.
Sure.
But, that gives some problems, but we're pretty good at raising money. I know that.
One thing I thought that was pretty impressive that you guys did was, I think it was like a grassroots. I don't know if it was your podcast, but for baseball, you guys, I think it was you guys or someone else
Yeah,
did a
no,
fundraiser for baseball.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's our group. That's Dollars for Dingers.
Yeah.
So we just finished our second year on that, and last year it started as an organic thing with our group. And here, come here real quick. And my son just walked in. There, come here.
It
I
happens.
can't ignore him. Here, sit down for a second. Hi, man. Hi.
I was expecting like a 6-year-old.
No, he's 14. He's not 6. He's taller than me now. But
yeah, who whoops
we
who's
started-
ass in that house?
yeah, no, still got old man strength. So last year we started it, and our baseball team had a heck of a year, and we were selected to host a regional. Unfortunately, our baseball facilities weren't up to the particular standards that are necessary to do that, and so they had to go to South Carolina and be the number 1 seed. Ultimately, we played well, but ultimately ended up falling in that. And a couple of us were just talking and said, you know, let me take a step back. Our team actually led the nation in home runs. They hit 105 home runs. And we said, man, if everybody gave $1 for each home run that our guys hit this year, we could raise a little bit of money. So we just started organically ourselves, not with ODAF, and started on Twitter and just started kind of putting it out there. And before we know it, after a few weeks, we raised about $10,000, which is a significant portion of the baseball's budget for the year. So
That's awesome.
that was really cool.
Yeah.
So we decided, hey, we're going to do that again this year. But we didn't lead the nation in home runs this year, but they did hit 128 home runs.
Oh wow.
And so this year, Mike and I, and some of the folks in our group, we have a really good relationship with our athletic department and with our foundation fundraisers. And those guys helped us. They partnered with us, so we were able to use a little of their crowdsourcing technology for fundraising, and we ran it all organically through Twitter. Mike put a cool video together. Scott Jackson, who's an Old Dominion alum, he does the post-game show for the Redskins or football team or Commander, whoever they are. Anyways, Scott did our voiceover for that particular video. So we really kind of pulled our Monarchist network together, and we raised almost 15 grand this year. So over the last 2 years, our group, just through us deciding, hey, we wanted to make just our small little impact on what we could do, we've raised almost $25,000, and that's just rallying Monarch fans.
That's awesome.
The only fundraiser we've done in the last year. When we got to the bowl game, they wanted to have a big push to bring as many fans as possible, and that includes students. So they had a fundraiser that they asked us to take part in to buy tickets for students and pay for their bus pass and their food. So, Aaron.
He's
Aaron.
dialed out.
Aaron.
Yeah, what's up? Sorry.
What was the donation amount for the students to the bowl game? Was it 100?
No, it was lower than that. I can't remember. I can't remember the exact number, but that was something that we helped to push.
Yeah, we helped to push it, and that ended up raising around $30,000 in a matter of 2 weeks.
Wow,
so,
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, our folks, all the Monarch fans that are small donors, medium donors, big donors, everybody jumped on that. So, we're really active on social media with. We try to look at everything through a positive lens. That's our group that's kind of what we're known for. Is we're realists and we're smart fans, and we understand what's happening, whether good things are happening or teams are struggling, but we look through everything with a positive lens. And so whenever we can help out with any sort of fundraiser, we try to look at, even if it's not our fundraiser, but pushing that. The women's soccer team did something this past spring. So trying to just kind of, whoever can afford to pitch in and whatever we can do in sharing things socially, social media, even for, our Olympic sports that might not get as much coverage. We're big baseball fans, so that just happens. We're there a lot at the games, and so naturally we gravitate towards that. But we were at a lot of women's tennis matches this year, which, by the way, I don't know a ton about the Sun Belt, but we have a phenomenal women's tennis program. We really have a good thing going. We've got a great athletic department. We got great coaches. Yeah.
Excellent. Sounds like a great. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
We do one other fundraiser that's really important to us. For the Oyster Bowl, we do a Toys for Tots fundraiser. We have some members that are Marine veterans, specifically Harry McBrien. He's one of our leads on Monarchists. So we do Toys for Tots every year, and this past year we collected over hundreds of toys, and I don't remember the dollar amount, but
over $1,000.
Yeah, $1,000.
Nice.
One day. So for us, we take a lot of pride in giving back, because
you guys have definitely made us look like just a bunch of drunks that talk about sports all the time. So
you've raised the bar quite a bit. Yeah.
yeah. All right, I've kept you guys here about twice as long as I promised you, but I've a couple of real quick questions. I'll get you in there and we'll get you out of here so you guys can get back to your lives. So we face Georgia State's one of two schools in the East or in the Sun Belt Conference that faces all four new opponents, and with you guys, JMU, Marshall, and Southern Miss, Old Dominion is the only one we face at home. So this is going to be the representation of all four schools about how well teams travel. So one question is, do you expect Old Dominion to make I know you said you guys can't make it, but do you expect Old Dominion to travel well to Atlanta? And then just what is your expectations on the season overall? I'll let you guys answer those together.
My gut tells me that it won't be one of our biggest showings, and the reason why I say that is because we have road games at East Carolina, at UVA, at App State, at Coastal. So I think there will be a significant amount of fans that go to East Carolina and to UVA. And then I think they're the folks are going to be looking at the ones that they didn't go to the bowl game last year, or maybe who did and wanted to go back to Myrtle, or those who've never been to Boone for a game. I think that people will probably choose one of those first. Mike, I don't know what you think there.
Yeah, I think it's a fair assessment. We'll probably bring between 500 and 1,000 fans to Georgia State, maybe.
Sellout crowd.
It's better than some of the Sun Belt schools.
Thank you.
How many fans are you guys bringing in normally on a home game?
Look, we don't like answering these technical questions. We can have a good time, and you come in here and it feels like you're trying to kill the buzz, and I just
don't get
it.
We've maintained the NCAA minimums. There you go. That's all you gotta know.
I will give a little bit of defense to our stand. So you guys will be watching this game from home. So obviously you guys know we play in the former home of the Atlanta Braves and the Olympic
Olympics
track and field and everything. So the way our camera angle is set up is we're basically using old suites from Turner Field that have to point that one direction. We have stands set in the what was the old right field center field area.
Yeah, we do the opposite of JMU.
Right. We show off the bad side. So
is that the front or the back of the mullet?
Yeah, we show the front.
So what you'll see is the side that in the other parts of the season are the hottest seats out there. There's no covering at all. So there's a little turnout there. So it looks bad. And then, but if you are in those seats, you're looking back at the larger part of the stadium, it may look a little empty as well, but we have a lot of suites and a lot of clubs from having that Major League ballpark. And those things are always packed out. So our attendance, while not impressive, is better than what it appears to be on TV and even when you're in the stadium itself. But yeah, I would say we report right over that FBS minimum of 15,000 a game, 16, 17,000 a game. Realistically, we're probably 12s to 10s, I would say. But we are the you're looking at three of the more diehard passionate guys, obviously, and we do our best to try to bring as many fans into the game and have a good time out there. But even then, we're up top in the club section. We're not down on the sidelines. We won't see us on anything behind players' faces or anything, because we're up where it's air conditioned and covered, and we got
covered and all that. Yeah. We try to we we've lived our lives already. We're just trying to have a good time.
Yeah. All right. So last question. We'll get you out of guys here.
Right.
What is y'all's like realistic expectations? I know you guys open up the season hosting Virginia Tech, which Virginia Tech, no offense, is actually one of my darling teams, only because one of my best friends went there. I had great times in Blacksburg. I will definitely be watching that game. But what are y'all's expectations on the season? I'm not saying who I'm rooting for, Tuck, but what do you guys?
You just
What are you
did.
guys looking for in the season? No, I had to clear my throat.
That's really just
Yeah, this is actually a really difficult question. And the reason why is it could be all over the place. The team is definitely going to be the team is a better team than last year. The team is full of talent. They're still young, but they have a shit ton of experience. The coaches are the same way. Some of the youngest coaches in the country, but they showed in the second half of the season last year that their plan is progressing and they're going in the direction they want to go. It's a tough schedule. And I don't know if you guys pay attention. Coach Ronnie is like, anyone talking about that it's a daunting schedule and whatever, it's kind of, don't talk about that. That's we play one game at a time and we don't have to play them all at the same time.
Yeah.
But I think realistically, I think having a record probably about the same as last year could be there. But that's against a much tougher schedule. But I think they could be anywhere from a 4-win team to a 9 or 10-win team. It just kind of depends on how things come together early. I think they need to start fast and to keep the momentum from last year. Again, if you listen to Coach Ronnie, he doesn't believe in momentum from the previous year. So even if you don't have that, starting quick and building some momentum right off the bat, some confidence for those guys, I think is an important thing this year. Which, Mike, what do you think, man?
so.
Mike, you guys hosting the championship game this year?
So Phil Steele said we could win as few as 3 games and as many as 9. And I'm kind of in that boat where it's all going to depend on injuries and resilience. Like, how will this team respond when a game doesn't go their way? Last year, we know how they responded because they were 1-6, and they ended up winning 5 straight.
Right.
To go 6. They were a very resilient team. So it all and how they bounce back. Because they could start 0-4, they could start 2-2, they could start 4-0. I think all 4 of our non-conference games, while they are daunting and they're all quality opponents, I think we can beat all of them. I think they're all toss-up games. But lose all 4. Well, so
yeah, I'll say that I was lucky enough to be able to make it over Friday to open practice, and you can tell that the team and the coaching staff, they're engaged. That practice was efficient. It was effective. Everybody was where they were moving. The players looked tight. They tight, not as in not being loose, but tight as a team, and excited. And I was impressed with what I saw. The coaching staff had things going, and the guys knew where they should be, and they got every ounce out of that practice. There wasn't any wasted time or movement. So if the season goes the way that particular practice went, I think that the Monarch fans will be very happy. But you got to play those games, so only time will tell.
I'll be
excellent.
in a bowl game, but I could see how it could go south. Does that make sense?
I hear you. Yeah, well, hey, Georgia State fans, man. We enter the season with the highest of expectations, and then at halftime of our first game, we're kind of like, well, that was wrong. So we got you. We feel you there. But thanks you guys for joining, and hopefully, if you guys can't make it down for the football game this year, you guys make it down for a basketball game or something else, and we'll see you guys. Hit us up. We'll definitely have a few drinks with you. I want to end this little segment with you with a comment we got. A couple comments from Nick Brock. He says, live broadcast with chat. And then he says, "Love it, better than a CUSA game broadcast." So I think that
All right.
get
That's
out of the
one
park. So.
Yeah, Nick. Whatever, man.
All right. Thanks, guys, for joining us. We'll hopefully talk. Let's talk to each other before our football game, before our basketball games, throughout the season.
Yeah.
Let's talk to each other again. Okay. Sound good?
Sounds awesome.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys. Thanks.
Cool.
Appreciate
Cheers,
it.
guys.
Go Monarchs.
Whoa.
All right, time to boot him.
Out of control.
All right.
Was that you, Tim? Was that one of them?
I said time to boot him.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought whoever said "Go Monarchs," I thought it was you. I was like, "What? What
Oh
the
no,
hell?"
no. That I think that was
No.
Mike. I think it was
All
Mike.
right. Okay, that's fine. Good.
You guys need to take a break, or you guys want to go roll into our topics for this week?
I took my break, so I'm ready to keep rolling, but I'll let it go up to you guys.
We could roll unless you need to.
Yeah.
You know,
There wasn't a lot to talk about, which is why when I heard from those guys, I said let's do it, let's roll with it, and do it last minute. So anyhow,
It was good though. They were good. Those are good folks.
we could learn a
That's
thing
good. All
or
right,
two from them. I think. Yeah.
Well, I don't need to be raising $30,000 or whatever, man. That sounds like work. That sounds like real work.
All right. Well, we can talk about this. We can talk about this part in that last call. I want to start right now, as if we have just started the episode, because we're gonna air this part ahead in the podcast live stream. The videos on YouTube and Facebook will have the whole thing. But yeah. All right. So here we go. Welcome back, guys. You have a good week.
Fantastic. How about yours, David?
What's happening?
David
Ryan came over. Ryan came over. His kid almost drowned in my pool. It was fantastic.
No, she was
Whoa.
fine the whole time. She was fine.
No, I agree. I agree. She was fine the
Your
entire
wife
time.
got all
But
worried. You saved her life. It was fine.
I did joke because she came over there and she just like jumped in the pool immediately. And Ryan's like, "Oh, let me put my stuff, my wallet, my keys, everything. I can let me make sure I can jump in a moment's notice." I have a pool noodle in my hand. I'm like, I'll just like hand this to her and pull her in. 10 minutes later, she jumps in and she was fine. My wife flipped out, and so I like pool noodle.
For
And she was
the
fine.
record, I am totally okay with you telling her in the future that she owes you her life.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, you
So.
saved her.
Kids gotta learn at some point, right? I mean, I don't
That's
know.
right. I mean, yeah, David is. God, I can't say it. I was gonna say good people. I just can't. It won't come out.
Don't say it.
I'm a good person.
No.
I'm a good person. So, yeah. All right. So there's not a lot that's about this week. We are going to have. We just recorded a interview with the Monarchists podcast, the Old Dominion guys who make us look bad at what we do. But
No.
I
Because
think
like what we do is so fundamentally different from what all these other podcasters do. They're really good at following ODU and like having all this really good information and facts and things like that. The whole point of this is like fans drinking at a bar that like don't know shit about shit. Like we try a little bit, but we're given some like bad information, and I think our fans like that. You know, we're offering something different. That's
Just
all.
you're just hanging out with us, right? That's it.
I tell you what, I don't think I can offer anything more than what I've already done. So
We do all right, man. We do all right. We do all right.
I've peaked.
And what I've noticed about whenever we have other podcasters on is that what they offer is very much like it's an attempt to be like sports radio, which I despise it. These guys are nice, but like that's not what I'm here for. I don't think that's what you're here for, David. I don't think that's what you're here for, Tim. I think we're just trying to like build up some camaraderie among fans and just say like,
of course.
You know what? Like, go fucking state. Oh, go state. Sorry, we're not on last call yet. Felt like we were on last call.
No, we're not, Ryan.
Sorry, my bad. My bad.
No, but it was.
I get excited. I get excited about Georgia State. We're just like, go state. Go effing state.
Our interview with the Monarchists is going to be on part 2. I haven't decided if it's going to be just an extension of this or a second episode this week. But either way, if you subscribe to us on any major podcast platform, it'll be there. If you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, then you've already seen that entire interview because we did it just a few minutes ago. So yeah. All right, guys. Like I said, there's not a lot to talk about. We did yesterday. We got some information about the pregame plans for USC and Army. So USC, they are doing a bus. I was going to do a bus. We were going to do a bus like we did last year, but I just was that 7:30 kick was scaring me. But now they got a bus for $15.
Right?
It's not a bad deal. Yeah. Hey, you guys talk about this for a second. My computer is about to die in battery for some reason, and I got to fix that. So
I don't know the information. Shoot. Okay. Well, you get that plugged in, but like, as far as Tim, do you know what the details of the bus are?
It's $15, I think.
Okay. Right.
I'm not going to be on it because I don't want to do the bus. And I think it says fans will get back around 2:45 a.m., which leads me to believe athletics is on crack.
I mean, I'm probably going to do it, but why are they on crack? It's only a couple hours away. It's only like 3 hours away.
Yeah, you got a 7:30 kick, TV game. Like, traffic getting out of that stadium is obnoxious. So I don't know.
Maybe
I'll take the over there. It's going to be 3 a.m. plus. Easy.
I'll probably do that. $15 for a round trip. I don't have to worry about drinking or anything like that. Like, I could probably bring a cooler on board, I would imagine.
And then there's some kind of tailgate, and I don't know how much that costs, but I'm going to guess it's $45. No, wait, the ticket's $45.
$35 for the tailgate, $45 for a game ticket, $15 for the bus. Beating USC in Columbia, priceless.
That's right. So
what do you get for it? I want to know.
And here's the other deal: $15. Like, we've all been to these games. Like, if you don't want to go to the Georgia State tailgate, don't walk around. These P5 programs really like that we come to their games. Like, they actually, the fans generally, like, I've only had one bad experience, I think, and it was Tennessee. And
Auburn
it's like
Auburn actually wasn't that much fun. It was fun.
It wasn't fun, but they were nice. They were still nice, but it wasn't that much fun. It was very it was very like generic.
It was bless your heart nice is what it was.
Yeah, I'm okay with that as long as you hand me a beer while you say it. Like,
they did not hand me a beer. I got no beer from Auburn.
Terrible.
I don't know. You must have wandered off in the wrong direction because
obviously. Yep. So one thing was weird is we were told that, and by the way, fixing my computer was literally touching the cord, and now it says it's charging. So, but anyhow, one of the things we were sold season tickets on this, promo, this deal was that you would get season ticket holders would get access or get away game tickets, and it sounded like all season ticket holders get away game tickets, and then it became that thing is no longer on the website, or email us if you want them and we'll put you in a raffle or something like that. I hear we'll find out next week. I requested tickets for South Carolina.
Yeah, me too.
I'm guessing you. Yeah. So hopefully we get them. There's no way they're going to turn us down. We'll spend the entire next week talking about how we didn't get our tickets.
I know. Well, no, that's weird. Like,
so no one's getting tickets is what you're really saying?
No, it'll be one of the three of us probably doesn't get tickets.
Probably.
Would be weird. But you're not going anyway, right, David?
I'm still trying to make it work. I'm still trying to find a way to make it work. That bus helps out tremendously. I think it's like a 1:30 pickup at Center Park Stadium, and then like a 2:45, 3 a.m. drop off back at Center Park Stadium.
Taking the over on that if you didn't hear.
Yeah, the family thing is not working out for me because the sleepover aspect is not ideal. Because I was like, basically, we're all gonna have to stay at your sister's house, and that's not gonna happen apparently. So,
are there details on the tailgate, David, or no?
I'm assuming
just
if it's
there's
like
a tailgate.
If it's like away game tailgates I've been to, they have like a buffet of some food, either some barbecue, some wings, some stuff like that.
Yeah, it'd be fine. It'd be like pub grub.
And I would assume you probably have at least 2 or 3 drink tickets, and then maybe a cash bar option after that. That's what my expectation is. $35, maybe a little high for that. I don't know, but I'm probably going to buy a bus ticket and maybe a day of kind of decision. But I'm probably not going to buy a tailgate ticket. And also, my experience from the tailgates is I can kind of find my way to walk in, anyways.
Yeah, you just show up. Someone will have tickets to give you and just hand you, right? I mean,
more than likely.
It's all right if they want to make a little money doing that tailgate. That's okay with me. That's fine.
I don't think they're making money. I think I don't think they make money on this kind of stuff. I think they're trying to cover costs.
Well, and that's fine too, as long as they don't lose money too. Like I'm cool with supporting that too.
Okay, I should say not cover costs. They're recouping as much cost as they can. I really don't think they operate, because I mean I did that bus last year for the Auburn game, and I'm assuming they probably get some kind of discount because they've got a contract with their bus line. There's no way I could have done $15. There's no way I could have done $15 a seat and recovered my cost on it at all.
Right.
Nowhere near close to it.
I will tell you that the catering that they did for the Montgomery for the bowl game, it was like they were awesome chicken fingers, and these like sandwiches from this like a local place. It was actually really solid.
Dude, you were in Alabama, man. South Alabama,
Christmas Day.
It was exceptional catering in my opinion.
I mean, think about it. You're
job. Kudos to athletics.
You're talking about a part of the country which has not been like completely spoiled with. I shouldn't say spoiled, but have all the big huge processed garbage kind of stuff. This was mom and pop shop down in Montgomery, Alabama, and they're like, "You want some food?
That's right.
I will make you some food. It'll be the best food you ever had in your entire life."
Yeah. No, it was good, and I trust our athletics department to do something worthwhile, even if it's like some barbecue or whatever. Like I think they'll do all right. It's probably worth the money. Do it.
It's also in a place you figure South Carolina being an SEC team, all these teams they pay to come in here every single year. It's a standard kind of thing. Like they probably have this like, hey, these are some of the vendors we do. This is where you can have your tailgate space. This is where you can have your party space and do blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff. So I'm sure it'll be fine, and I'm looking forward to it. I really want to go. I'm trying to make it work. We'll see. We
gotcha.
I'm in. I want it. I mean, even if I don't get the free tickets, I won't say that. No, I'm not going to go if I don't get free tickets.
Because Athletic listens.
I really need those free tickets.
Because if they're watching, they see the winking. But if they don't watch,
there's no winking. What are you talking about, David? Shut up.
Man, I really didn't have that much to talk about. Let's see. I don't really care about that. Athlon had an article. They did that whole thing where they asked coaches to speak anonymously about other programs in the conference, just to kind of see but they only gave one quote per team, which was really disappointing. I'd like to see, I don't need to see every single coach's quote because I could probably figure out a few of them that way, but like 2 or 3 quotes per team would have been a little bit nicer to see. They only gave one. The Georgia State one, I have no idea which coach said it. You're not supposed to know which coach said it, but he kind of talked about it. May have been Coach Elliott, honestly, that talked about the team. He may have submitted it against it for his own team because it says, what jumps out at you is how physical they like to play. They like to hit you. They like to run, and they're starting to really make that their identity. And I'm like, that kind of sounds like Coach Elliott talking about the team. That real physical, hit you hard and hit you fast type stuff. So
yeah,
that person was right.
Yep, pegged it.
Man, you've got nothing on that, guys.
Apparently, that is like the reputation we've gotten is that like in the trenches we are a pretty good football team, which is like where it all starts, right? And that's how you get 8 wins. And with what I have been calling a very mediocre quarterback, and I hope he doesn't listen and like internalize that or anything. But like our quarterback has not been great, but we did win a bunch of games. Like that's all facts. So it has to be something else, right? Like in the trenches. And if other coaches are saying that our linemen are doing their jobs and that's like where we're doing it, I love it. Let's keep doing that. I don't know how to watch for that.
That is the one thing you expect from a head coach that came from the offensive line side of the ball, right?
Line coach. That's right.
That's
so I love it. I'll take that every day of the week. And maybe that's what I'm missing. That's what I don't understand about like our team and why we got 8 wins. Well, we got 7 wins. 8 wins was 100% Granger with his crazy day at the ball
The
game.
guy you just dogged for being a medium quarterback.
Yeah, the guy you just said sucks,
Oh
essentially.
yeah, but
Thanks,
I'll give
Ryan.
him one of the 8. Yeah, I'll give him one of the 8 wins is 100% on him. He carried the team. He was amazing. Best quarterback I've ever seen in my life.
So would you call him like a Connor Manning game manager minus?
No. He's not a game manager. His offensive line protects him.
Okay.
Some guy with the football behind the line of the offensive line.
So he didn't do anything.
So our best quarterbacks, I think it's obviously our best quarterbacks are Nick Arbuckle, Dan Ellington, and Connor Manning. Not in that order, just those are our 3 best quarterbacks we've ever had, right?
Order. I think that's the right order.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll go with it.
You said so. Nick, Dan, Connor, whatever. It doesn't matter. The order is irrelevant. So if you were to build your quarterback out, what would you want? When it comes to physical ability or throwing ability or mental football IQ ability, how would you construct the ultimate Georgia State quarterback from what we have?
Yeah, I'll skip Connor altogether, and I'll just take Dan's. I'll just take Dan's legs and arm. Wait, no.
Dan's legs,
Nick's arms, Nick's brain.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's it.
I mean,
that's it.
Well, then you got to put the Manning on the back of the jersey because you got to give him something.
I don't have to do that, David. I don't have to do
it's
that.
like it explains everything.
The part about that, I don't have to do that.
So that wasn't something I planned on talking about tonight, but when you started talking about that, it kind of hit my head, and now I'm kind of like, how do I explain that without insulting any of the quarterbacks? If I say I pick like you say pick Nick for football IQ, Dan as a coach to our team right now is kind of like, F you, Ryan. I know a lot about this guy this game.
But Nick, before he, that was the thing is Arbuckle was a coach while he was a player on the team. His whole thing was being the cerebral. He watched all the film. And
I disagree. What was?
Hang on. Let me finish my thought.
No. I can mute you if I want to.
Let me finish. David, chill out. So even other players on the team,
I'm going to forget my thought
about how Nick Arbuckle helped them with their film watching and with all of that other stuff. So Nick was given credit for being a cerebral quarterback and being a coach on the team before he even while he was a player.
So he's a teacher.
Anyway, go ahead, David. I'm sorry, but you had to let me finish my thought.
Yeah. Well, my problem was I don't remember my thoughts a lot, so I thought I would forget what it was. I did not forget what it was. But the whole what was Nick's nickname? Farvebuckle. He wasn't that cerebral
the gunslinger.
The gunslinger that had no fear. He was the man without fear. He was the daredevil. He was the Green Lantern. He was the guy who's going to go in there and he's going to just put that ball up there and let the guy catch it. So
yeah, Green Lantern, that's good. I've not heard that. The man without fear. I've not heard that either. That's new, but it totally is right. But he also was cerebral. He also gave it a lot of thought and watched a lot of film. And one of the things that I've noticed about teams that do really well is they have quarterbacks who audible at the line and change the play and make sure that they're the ones calling the plays, right? They're not relying on an offensive coordinator or a head coach to call the plays from the sidelines. And Arbuckle did a lot of that kind of stuff. And I think that is the difference between great teams and good teams is quarterbacks who can be coaches on the field.
Well, so that also was kind of the same thing that happened when Tony Romo took over the booth covering games. They had somebody that was fresh off the field. And no, I'm not saying that Romo was an elite quarterback, but he was a very, very good quarterback and he knew what he was doing. And he was that student of the game type thing. And he got in there and he could look at the formation on the defensive line and be like, the play they're going to run right now is blah, 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 blah. And
he'd look at the offense too and be like, this is what's going to happen in the next 5 seconds.
Which is awesome, by the way, to watch.
Yeah, Tony Romo, the announcer, is just I know why they got rid of, or I think they.
I loved it,
but it was perfect. I loved it. I learned more about football with Tony Romo, the announcer, than I learned in any amount of years of watching football.
As a quarterback, he's a great announcer. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, he's a good quarterback too. Like
He
all
was
the
good. He
haters,
was-
like they're wrong.
You know what his followers were called, right? The people that loved him, what they called him, or what they were called
What?
themselves, Romo
What?
sapiens,
I'll take it, man. I'm around the table.
or was it Romosexuals? Was it Romo sapiens
I'll
or
take
Romosexuals?
Romosexual
One of the
too.
two.
I'll take it. I'll take
It could be
I'm
either. It could be either, right?
Yeah.
I'm on it. I'm there. I liked it. So I got really mad because you know, like one of my stances like throughout has been there are all these players on the team. It's a team sport. It's not the quarterback and the quarterback alone. Tony Romo would play this game that was like lights out until the fourth quarter, and then he'd throw an interception and they'd lose. And it's like, and then they blame the entire game on him when he was lights out before that. The defense just like sucked and like made it so the other team was in it. But it was all his fault for throwing that one interception for the entire game. And I was like, this is nuts. Like, how can you not see that Tony Romo is a good quarterback?
This episode brought to you by Romo for the Hall of
Tony
Fame.
Romo.
So,
brought to you by the Romosexuals.
I have no idea how much time we've already been on here because
does he have any?
does
he have any college? Like, does he have any eligibility?
eligibility?
Bring him back to Georgia State.
Yeah, bring Tony Romo back, Georgia State.
We're gonna give you an honorary degree if you'll come play here for a
That's
season.
right, just for one year, please.
He's like, "What is my connection to Georgia State?" We're like, "You're on the TV here."
Stop asking boring questions. Play football.
Exactly. Entertain me, fool.
Exactly. Yeah. What are you talking about, dude? Just play football.
Entertain me, multimillionaire. Yeah.
Also donate to the program.
And donate to the program. Pay your way.
This is why we suck at this. Like that's why the Monarchists are raising $30,000 for whatever, and we're all like, let's get Tony Romo. We're just like drunk assholes.
I think that is probably the best description of the difference between us and the Monarchists. They're raising money for the program, and we're talking about Romo becoming our next quarterback.
And Deion Sanders, right? I brought that up one of the weeks.
That's right. He could be our receiver.
Yeah, we're firing Coach Elliott and bringing in Deion Sanders,
and we're in.
We got a QB and receiver. What else do you need?
I mean, they all have to have at least like 1 year left of eligibility, right? I mean, like because they all leave for the draft a year early, don't they?
Yeah, but once you leave for the draft, you forfeit your eligibility.
I don't think that's true. I don't know. I feel like a lawyer might have something to say about that.
It is in football. Apparently, it changed in basketball recently. You can actually declare for the draft in basketball now.
Undeclared.
Well, can you get undrafted and then undeclare?
I don't know about that, but I know you can just
I
test the waters and not go forward.
I bet the Monarchists know.
They might.
So, yeah. So a question I had, this popped up. I can't remember if this was from our private group chat or this came up from Panther Talk or a combination of the two. But, over the past, was it 5 years that Coach Elliott's been here for? 5, 6 years? How much more attractive has this job become for a coach? So, obviously we know that Coach Elliott won't be here in another 5 or 10 years because either he's really good and he goes somewhere else, or he's really bad and he doesn't, or he's mediocre and we get rid of him.
Eventually get rid of him. Ugh.
Well, I mean, if we're putting up, if 8 wins is our peak under Elliott, I figure after the next athletic director's in charge, you probably get rid of a guy that's only putting up 8 wins and not winning a conference championship. 6, 7 years, yeah, you're not going to keep the guy, right? You got to move on. You got to take that next leap. My question is, how much, just in his short time here, how much more attractive has the head coaching job at Georgia State become? And not just him and what he's done, but also with the facilities and what basketball has done. Basketball has definitely elevated the athletic program completely.
It's true.
I feel like, it's become a much more attractive job than when Coach Elliott came in the first place. And why did Siri just come on? Go.
I don't know. We're a much more elevated program, right? We're, the athletics neighborhood campus concept that we're doing, once we get that all built out, is good. Obviously, the football program performing better makes it a more attractive job overall. maybe we'll get a coach in here to actually recruit the state of Georgia. I don't know. We'll see. You never know. Right. I mean, unless we get another coach from like South Carolina or Appalachian State, then we'll just continue.
I don't care where we
South Carolina dominance.
As long as the players are good. I'm gonna sing that song every single time. I just don't give a shit as long as the players can play. I don't care.
I don't really care either.
South Carolina or fucking. Oh, sorry, I did it again. Spain,
twice, man.
UK. Don't care. Don't care. As long as they play good football.
I don't really care where they're from either, just as long as we have good relationships with the schools within Georgia. And there's opportunity there to recruit kids from Georgia. I don't know. I don't get the vibe that we're excelling in that area as much as we're excelling in South Carolina.
The point, to Ryan's point, I don't disagree with you. As long as we're getting the best player, here's the thing. This is not a dig on any player coming from South Carolina, North Carolina, or any state coming to Georgia State. I'm not. This is not a dig on that any individual player. My question is, we have so many high quality players in Georgia that are leaving the state. Are we bringing in players that are all over the well Georgia is the fourth highest recruited state in all of college football. So my question is, hey, you made me listen to your boring statement. Listen to my boring question.
Yeah, you're right.
My boring question is, are we bringing in better talent than is leaving the state? And to that end, are we bringing better talent than we're even talking to in Georgia? Like, are we even talking to the kids on the same level or better talent than what is we're bringing in here in Georgia? That's my question. I don't know the answer to that question.
I think it's really important to know where they're going. And they're going to the top 10 programs in the country a lot of times, and sometimes you're looking at it, and there are a lot of App State players that are from Georgia, right? So those are direct competitors, and we should be hooking those guys, and they should not be going to App State. They should be staying at Georgia State for 100%.
Right.
If you're in the
Sun Belt, those are the guys.
and you're leaving Georgia State and you're one of the best players, we should be keeping you 100%. I am on board with that. But so many of these athletes are so good that they are leaving to go to Ohio State, to Florida, to Oregon, to like all these top programs, and there's no hope for us. We're not competing with those guys. That's not what we're doing.
I think you can point to
100%.
You could point to Florida's record and be like, dude, if Ohio State has an offer for you, dude, I can't argue with that. But Florida, come on, man, you ain't going anywhere. You can go to the Independence Bowl or something. Who cares about that?
No, 100%. Your choice as a football player is to go to Florida or Georgia State. Chances are, unless there are extenuating circumstances that like keep you at Georgia State because you want to be in the state, like you're going to Florida. You're going to Florida.
Florida's a bad example because as an 18-year-old male, do you want to go to a school where the girls wear bikinis to class? Yes.
Gainesville?
Yes, I do.
Gainesville is fucking trailer. Oh, God. I did it again. Florida is, it's like jean shorts.
Really good happy hour, huh?
Yeah. It was. Florida is like jean shorts and like socks with your flip-flops, like central. It is not bikinis.
Not the girls, Ryan. Not the girls.
No, the girls too. It's terrible. It's
guys with the bikinis in flip-flops and socks.
This is why we do last call after the episode, because we're drunk already and we start talking about
we're an hour and 18 minutes in.
David, let's move this along to the last call.
I have dropped 3 F-bombs though, and I do apologize.
And I'm not going to find them. I'm not going to go back and listen to it tomorrow. I'm not listening to an hour and 20 minutes of this. Okay, so this is all right. It's just a random question. This has nothing to do with this week. All right. Well, we'll skip. Maybe I'll remember that later on. We have sports. I talked about this last week. We have sports that started. Women's soccer. Women's soccer played 2 exhibition games already. 4-1 win, 2-0 win. Awesome. They start the actual regular season this week. Thursday and Sunday games against Clayton State and Murray State. Awesome. This is just another sign of things getting closer to us having a full athletic schedule of events. So that's awesome. Good luck to the ladies got where they were receiving votes in the top 25 of women's soccer. So good season on deck for them. Men's begins their exhibitions this week. They've got Presbyterian tonight, 7:00 tonight. They're done already. I'm sure they fucking. See, I did it now. Kick their ass. And they'll be at Clemson on Saturday. Start the regular season next week. So that's all I got. I have the last things I got. I can keep for last call because we're going to do that still too.
Let's save it for last call then, because apparently we all really want it.
We need some cursing, motherfucker.
Hey,
that was intentional.
I know.
All right. Hat trick.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. If you're listening to the podcast of this, keep on going because we'll have our interview with the Monarchists podcast from Old Dominion, talking about really just about them joining the conference. There's not a lot about the teams, and it's really just about the conference itself, them joining the conference and their school and what it's like over there, and those guys. So it's pretty good. It was entertaining. It's a fun conversation. They were drinking whiskey, so it was fun.
For sure.
So,
they go big. I like it.
Yeah. All right, we'll say goodbye, guys.
Beer like the rest of us.
Say goodbye, guys.
Goodbye, guys.
Peace.